Hey YouTube, alright, let's get right into it. This video is getting your Newpacs solo mining, video 1 of 2. And I appreciate all those following along. There's been some comments and messages with interest for this next video and how to get your Newpacs solo mining on what we've built so far. So by the end of these next 2 videos, you'll be mining. There's going to be quite a bit to absorb here, and before we get into it, I'm not a YouTube expert by any stretch, but apparently if I get enough likes on my videos, I can take a cut of the Google AdSense revenue. Since they're going to show commercials on my videos, whether I get a cut of them or not, I'd appreciate it if I could get you to give the videos a like. And then, of course, if I get enough likes on the videos, I can join the program and maybe make a little money on it. But anyways, the first thing that I need to tell you is we actually have to use 2 different mining softwares to make this work with the Newpacs. And we'll be using both CGMiner and BFGMiner. And if this is confusing to you, let me explain why this is. First, BFGMiner is now the only miner that will support solo mining directly against Bitcoin Core. And why is this? So prior to Bitcoin D version 0.20.0, both BFGMiner and CGMiner worked against Bitcoin D. But Bitcoin D version 0.20.0 removed a piece of the software called Coinbase flags. And then after that, CGMiner stopped working with Bitcoin D. So basically, version 0.19.1 was the last version that CGMiner worked directly on Bitcoin D. Now, the developer of CGMiner never updated their software, but we have to use CGMiner, and the reason for that is because the needed drivers to run the Newpacs, the USB miners, are only available for CGMiner. The author of the drivers for the Newpacs only wrote the drivers for CGMiner and not BFGMiner. So what I have to do is show you how to use both pieces of software together to mine Bitcoin with the Newpacs. The way this is going to work is BFGMiner will connect directly to Bitcoin D as what is called a proxy, and CGMiner will then connect to BFGMiner proxy. And basically this is the basis for some mining pools today. For example, the BFGMiner proxy runs against Bitcoin D, and it can handle more than one connection to it. So if you ever wanted to have a larger mining pool with other miners, you could have a bunch of them with their CG miners connecting to your BFGMiner in a pool. Now, before we start mining, we've got a lot of installing and compiling to do, which I will show you step by step. So let's first start with a fresh Ubuntu update. Let's run the following. I've already done this on mine, but I'll just go through the motions here. That's the password for sudo. And then run this, do the upgrade. And basically it's saying that there's nothing to be done because I just did it. But in your case, you probably will have some patching that happened, and then what you're going to want to do is go ahead and run a reboot after you do the patching. So I'm going to skip that part. So you'd run sudo reboot. Alright, so next let's start installing these prerequisites. And let's talk about this real quick. We're going to start with BFGMiner. And we are going to actually compile the program from source code. And to do that, this is a fairly big list of all the packages that we need in order to compile BFGMiner from source. So let's get busy with this. I'm going to do these again one by one, and then we'll download BFGMiner after this. We'll start right at the top here and just start installing them. And this might take a little while, so I'm probably just going to speed this up. Okay, so I've installed all the packages here except for this last one, which I'll do now. and I'll show you the full list here in a second. I guess this took about 10 minutes. Okay, it looks like it's finishing. Okay, good. So here's the full list if you want to see. I'll just scroll up slowly so you can get a view of it, what you need. These are all the packages that you're going to need. Alright, so let's move on. So now that the prerequisite packages are in fact installed, let's go ahead and download BFGMiner. We will need to download it, and I like to download when I'm building from source. I download to the traditional place where builds would normally occur in any Linux environment, which is /user/source. So let's just head over there. And let's get the package. This will download the package into this directory. There it is. Take a look. And there it is. We see the BFGMiner package. Let's unzip it. Unzipped. Let's take a look. There. Let's go into the directory. And I could not, we have to run a command called configure, but I could not get configure to run properly without doing a permissions change on the entire contents of this directory. So that's what this is here. Normally we don't have to do this, but for some reason with this particular one, configure would not run properly. So what this is doing, when I type that command in, it's changing all the contents, all the files in that directory to world readable and world writable if necessary, and then configure should run okay. This is, like I said, this normally is not needed to do when you're compiling a program. Alright, so we'll run configure. It's going to do its thing. It's going to take a minute at least, I would think. When this is done configuring, we're going to have to go inside of a file to fix something with Vi, and I'll show you that real quick. But basically, long story short, it's a known issue in this program, and I don't know why it's not fixed, but it's not fixed. Or maybe it just applies to Raspberry Pi or something like that. But there's a file called util.h, and we're going to go in there with Vi, and we're going to find a particular line, which you can see right here. And we just have to do a slight edit. We have to add the word extern, then a space in front of the word void. So let me show you that real quick. Without this, the compile will fail. And again, like I said, it is a known issue. So let's take a look at this. Sudo vi util.h, and we're in there. And what we can do, I could scroll through this file and looking for it. I'll just give you a little quick tip about Vi if you're looking for something. If I just hit the / and then type in the word that I'm looking for example, void. Let's see what I can find with void, and then hit enter. So that is not the one. That is not the one. That is not the one. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try /. Let's try this word. This might be a little better to try here. So /. Whoop. Copy that, I guess. And There it is. So it came up right away. That's not what I wanted. Let's try that again. Hit enter. There we go. Now it puts us where we need to be. And just make sure I do in fact have the right line before I change anything. Okay, so I'm going to press the insert key on the keyboard. I'm going to type in extern, E-X-T-E-R-N, then put a space in, and that's what we want now. Now we have to save the file. Remember how we do that. First we hit the escape to get out of insert mode. Then we're going to do a colon WQ. The W stands for write and the Q stands for quit. And that's done. Now that we fixed this file, we can actually compile this program, and we do that with sudo make. And fingers crossed, I've done everything correctly, and this is going to run without erroring. I am not sure how long this is going to take. If it looks like it's going to take a while, I will just stop the video. Okay, I did stop the video. The compiling is completed, and just take a quick look there at what we have. This is what you should be seeing if everything went well. If everything did not go well, you'd see an error in there somewhere. But this is a classic example of a compiled program that completed successfully. So we can move on now. This completes the compiling of BFGMiner. So we are done with BFGMiner. We're moving on to CGMiner. CGMiner, we can take care of that right inside of our home directory. We don't have to be in this directory in the user source directory. So let's just do a cd/home/Bitcoin, assuming that's the name of your home directory. And now let's go ahead and grab the git clone of the special CGMiner. This is not the original version of CGMiner. This is a modified version. The author of the driver for the Newpacs, took the original CGMiner version and modified it to include the drivers for the Newpacs, and this is the one that we're downloading. Let's get it. Alright, so we've got it, and let's go into the directory. CD, CG, well, let's so you can see. CD, CGMiner. There we go. Now we're in the CGMiner directory. Next, we have to type in this here. We have to pass these variables onto CGMiner so it can make it or configure it. It's a little bit different than how we made the BFGMiner, slightly different. Okay, so that configured normally, and now onto the make. Okay, we have an error. That's what it looks like when you compile a program and it does not complete successfully. So I think with the magic of YouTube, in just a few seconds I will figure out a way to get this corrected, at least a few seconds to you, and we'll be right back. Alright, so with the magic of YouTube, I've got the problem solved, and what it is you need to modify your configuration to look like this. And what's happened here is I've added this additional command inside the C flags. And what it is, the first time I compiled CGMiner, I actually did it on Ubuntu 20.04, and that version of Ubuntu had an older compiler, which is called GCC. This newer version of Ubuntu that we're all running, I believe, what is it, 20.10, has GCC version 10 on it, and GCC version 10 has changed the way certain things are run, so some of this so-called older code is not compatible with this newer version of GCC. So I had to tell GCC to use the legacy way of doing things, and that's what this -f common is in there. And by the way, when you look at that string, I want to just make sure everybody knows that's a capital O2, not a 02. So when you're running this, make sure you're using an O2, not a 02. Otherwise, obviously, it's not going to work. So after you run this, and if you've already run this once, following along here, don't worry, just run it again with the F common in there. It's not going to hurt anything. And after that, you can run your sudo make, and this down here really should be the end results here. No errors. That is a successful compiling. So that is going to complete video 1 of 2. And on the next video, which I hope will not take as long as this one did, maybe just I'm on vacation, so hopefully just a couple of days. And we will be compiling, or I'm sorry, we will be mining with our Newpacs. All right, till the next video, take care.